Alright, hey, welcome back to Walden's World. We're working on the black Mamba motor. This is what I'm going to send this one to. This is going to be a 4-speed 125 stroker motor. 155 stroker motor, my bad. So I've already put the Takigawa cam in. Got my bearings in here. This is the one I had issues I had to actually work on. These all got Loctite on them. Got the bearing in there. So I already got the shifter cam in there, which turns it to a 4-speed, and I went ahead and put my star on. I've got it Loctited, and then my little mechanism that keeps it in gear, as well as my oil pump, I've got it on. So I've had these other bearings in the freezer for an hour, and when I say an hour, I mean since yesterday. I cleaned up all this stuff, and don't want to bend that shaft. Let's see if we can get these bearings in without tearing anything up. Alright, so I got something to hit the outer race of my bearing, and it's been in the freezer for a while, so hopefully it'll go right in. I could have heated the bearing up, or I mean the case up a little bit too, would probably have helped. So now I need to find something to get that pin bearing in. This is a lot more delicate. Really the smart thing to do is use the shaft. So I believe it's actually this one. And we'll see if we can't tap it in there with a rubber mallet. She's in there. Good. Alright, so let's put the gears in. This one has to slide up underneath the shifter drum. So I'm gonna let the gear drop down right here. Probably can't actually see that. So let the gear drop down there, and then I'm going to take this one. Whoops, wrong way. These got all drop down together. This is what I'm trying to say. Alright, so those are in. Alright, so on these shifter forks, the longer one goes on the back side, and you got a shorter one. It goes on the front side. Whoops, and that's upside down. So we will first get our shifter fork into our gear spline, and then we will move our shifter drum to where it goes to a satisfactory position. And same thing with the other one. It goes down a little further. May need to pick some gears up. And we will rotate it until it gets into a given position. There we go. Alright, so you got your 2 case pins too, so those need to be in there. Alright, so got this up on a deal here, and it's frozen. I got me some feeler gauges on one side of the crank, the rod is on the other, and we should be about all the way in. Got to keep these right here. So I've got pressure on this side and pressure on this side with this pin. The thing's frozen. Of course, the nut's on there. So if I tear up my threads coming back off, it'll clean them off, which we don't want to tear them up anyway. Maybe one more tap. I think we're going to go with that for now. until we get it together. But looks pretty good. I'm not sure what the clearance is supposed to be over here, but probably close. Alright, so pull those out. Make sure everything's still good. And I'll get some paper towels to clean that off. Looks like I got my dirty hands on some stuff. I don't know what they put all over that. That's some kind of grease. But that was on there to begin with, so probably okay. See if we can get our nut off now that we beat the daylights out of it. Alright. Threads look good. That's done. Set it back up on our blocks. We ain't got much of a block here. Okay. That does look a little off balanced. So, or is it just me? Maybe it's just the end of the bolt. Alright, we'll get some gray Permatex on here, my go-to. Now, if y'all ain't heard that I use that orange stuff, that's a lie. I'm just kidding, that's an inside joke. Between many people. I just like to get a little bit on here, and really you'll have enough to go back and pretty much do it all. So we'll see how it spreads out. A lot of times when I wipe it, I want to wipe it away from the case, and that way all your excess goes out instead of in. Make sense? You just want enough to cover the metal, basically, make a good seal. If you don't have enough, sometimes just put it on your finger and you run it like that. No big whoop. Make sure you get around your bolt holes too, because that is always got little amounts of pressure in it. So make sure the pressure on the case is even. You don't have no leaks that way. Looks pretty good. Right there. The thing with oil is, and obviously there's a new case, you don't have that, but the oil, this stuff will just slide right across it. You can take a paper towel and just wipe it off. You don't have to wipe the whole thing off. You just gotta make sure. Looks good. I'll go ahead and do this too right here. Not that it needs it. I don't even know that it closes anything off. Actually, yeah, it does. Alright, see any spots? Let's put it on. Let's attempt to put this on. See what happens, shall we? So there's a lot of shafts going in. There's two shafts here. You've got your shift forks, your tumbler. So a lot of deal. And we're gonna make sure we got our filler gauges back in there. All right, I think everything's lining up. I believe we're going down slowly. I'm gonna get some bolts. I think it'll suck the rest of the way. Alright, cleaning off some of these bolts and figuring out where they go. So far, so good. There's another long one. Where's it go? Right here. Yep. Some short ones. Should be one there. Yep. And one here. Here and one here. All right, and start getting those tightened up. I've got a screwdriver, a little bit bigger bit, works good for these. And I'm gonna work around my crank first is what I'm gonna do. Keep in mind you got those pins, they'll get jammed up on those pins, so if your case starts getting crazy, could be one of those pins. Getting closer. We got some sealant coming out. Alright, let's give her a few love taps. About got them all already. Now, next thing I want to do is make sure my transmission's turning. Make sure my crank's turning. Alright, so gotta kind of wait for the crank to thaw out a little bit. Make sure that it's turning okay. Let's flip her over. Let's see what we can do over here. So our water pump looks to be good. That bearing looks flush up against there, so that's straight. And we can start working on this stuff. We need to get our kickstart in there. So we've got one washer that actually sits down in that cavity, and we've already put our one retainer in there. Actually, I'm just going to drop that washer in there like this, just like that. And then we take, slide that in there. Alright, we're good there. So we've got a spring here, and this goes down in this hole. Let's see, where's our plastic deal? Somebody stole it. Can't believe this shit. So we got our plastic sleeve, and that's what keeps this spring in the right spot. Actually, we should be able to throw that in afterwards. So, got our spring in the hole there. This one was supposed to go in that hole. Real easy like. So, we're not doing something right. Let's try that again. Let's put that in there first. Put that in there first. And then do that. Look at how easy that was. That's the way to do it. Alright, so what's next? Kickstart mechanism. And before I did all this, I actually cleaned all this good stuff off. So this needs to be put like that first. And should be able to drop that. We're going to drop this right over that little deal there. No problem whatsoever. There she goes. Bam. Alright. So let's put our kicker on. We're going to make sure all our gears turn. And we can spin this while doing it. Alright. Hey, welcome back to Walden's World. Got my coffee. Got a couple of bikes done yesterday. Hey y'all, get on there and make an account, like and subscribe, so I can make a little more cash on this and we can give away some more free bikes and stuff. I'm giving away a couple of bikes anyway. Okay, so I gotta get all this clutch and stuff done. I'm gonna have to tear this apart, clean it up and use it. Got brand new fibers and plates somewhere. Oh, under here. So I've got steels. Now notice on this arbor here, I guess they quit using this style in 2002. but this had some springs that went in there, and I wasn't quite sure which one to use. I have the newer one too that is solid, so I guess we're going to use that one. I was wondering if using this other one might actually help, because this is the one-way bearing that when you kickstart your bike it goes out. So oh well, we'll just do what we got to do. So I'm gonna pull this one out, try to, and we'll put the other one in. So, and these are hard to get in because it's a one-way bearing. You got to twist it and push it at the same time. Spacer goes on here. It should be right there. Come on. There we go. I think that's supposed to be a one-way bearing. It ain't being very one-way about it. We'll see what happens when we get it all together. Alright, so we need our retainer and our nut. Alright, here's the clutch we were going with. Looks the best. Looks more gooder than the rest of them. That says it's just got a nut on the end of it. It could be this one. I guess that's going to hold it on there. And then we'll put this one on the other one. $27. Perfect. I actually don't know what the torque specs are on that. I give it the old good and plenty, and they're not coming off. Alright, so looked at my diagram on my computer here. Everything looks legit, so we're ready to put on our gasket and clean our case up and put it on. It was dirty right there, see there? I always clean everything off. And then this, we cleaned this out real good. If you remember the video earlier, this thing was it was pretty dirty. But got it nice and clean now. Edge is real good. There are some, I call them stains. You can still see some of the gasket. And you just want to give it up anything that's big that you really grab your fingernail on. Alright, so let's figure out how all this rigmarole goes in here. And I've got a diagram over here. So something like that. This is supposed to be on there. Got this on there, which that should line up like that. Alright, so I got my pins in here. There's one here, one here. That's all there is. Make sure I got my screen in here. I did look at this thing, point straight up, even though that don't look right to me, and the line's there, and it's like, hey Corey, that's how it's supposed to be, and I'm like, hey, second guess yourself. So anyway, it's correct. We're gonna go ahead and put this cover on. We've got it good and clean. I'm gonna clean it one more time, just for serendipity, because I like to. We got the bolts there. So you can clean this 100 times. I still got a little dirt off there. So, especially if you got a little spot like that, it's got oil in there. So make sure you get that. We don't want the oil leaks, because that would just plain suck. Alright, so let's put the case on and hopefully it just drops right on. Actually, we need to pull this seal out, so I'm going to replace it. I believe I should have a new one. And then we can put that in. Okay, got that seal out. Alright, put that on now. Get the old rubber hammer and tap her down. And first thing we'll do is just run them down with a screwdriver. I've got one with a bigger head here somewhere. If I can find it. Gonna run these down pretty snug at first. And like I said, I like to get the bottom good and sealed. And then we'll work our way up the deal. Just my personal way of doing it. Give all these a couple good whacks. They're moving about 1/8 of an inch or so. I like to torque these down to Guten plenty. It's I believe it's a German measurement. Guten plenty. And we need a little bit of oil to put on this. Right here. On there. Corresponding socket. Alright, she's in. Alright, so we got our two brothers timing chain. Needs to go on. Check. Alright, so we're going to get this seal on here. Where's my old one? There you go. Right here. Little dallop will do ya. Mail came. I've been waiting for packages forever. Get the correct socket. Go on there. I'll be able to just push this down. Yeah. That puts down real nice. Alright. Need our other socket here. Now, I gave my buddy a bike a while back and he found a seal that would fit right over the shaft. Well, there's a collar that goes in here. So as he fought with that thing for days, actually I didn't have to lube this, he had the wrong gasket in there. Wrong seal. So I went over there. That's that Cobra bike I give my buddy's kid to ride. So that's the last one. Chain thingamajig and dilly whopper in here. Where'd my big screwdriver go? Y'all see it? Here it is. We're going to put some thread lock on this too. Just put a little bit right there in the threads. Couple of drops. Little dallop will do ya. Are y'all still watching? Okay. You still here? Alright. We're going to run this down. And then we'll give it a good wet pouring. By the way, don't drop the screws down those holes because you're going to really, that'll be a sucky day. First thing I do if I got bad threads is just hammer it straight down. And then turn it. So that turned almost 1/4 of an inch. Let to fix these threads here. I'm going to hammer straight down. Put a couple of drops of Loctite on this for our chain guard. And run it down. I got put about 8-9 pounds of pressure. So. Okay. Should just pop on down. Get this in here. I think we'll use a couple of drops of Loctite. For serendipity. Alright, so I had to go down and buy a tap from my nut because I screwed it up when I was hammered on. Got the flywheel on. We should be good to go here. Got my new timing chain in. Got that on. My new gasket, got it nice and clean. So let's pop this bad hammer jammer on there. And then we'll find all these bolts that go wherever. They should all have about 3/8 inch sticking out. That way you know you're right. I'll go there. Same size, don't matter. This is the black Mamba bike. It's going to be the 155 semi-auto stroker. This ought to be a fun bike to ride. We'll see what happens. Get these to torque, which is good and plenty. Usually you want to go around one more time because when you tighten some up, it'll loosen others. Alright, so got a brand new air filtration system on there. I said air, I meant oil. Oil filtration system. I'll get this cleaned out. Look like there's a little gippity goop in there. So we don't care what the outside looks like, but we want the inside looking respectable. Respectable. Boy, this case is shining compared to the rest of it. Where'd my little zip zapper go? Get a little zip, a little zap, a little zip, and a little zap. Good, zip zap. Right there. Bada bang, bada bang. And I think that's good for now. We'll need this gasket here in a short. Ironically, it came with 2 sets of valve seals. Very strange. And interesting. But strange. We need to get our piston on. We'll get our gasket on here. Should be all good there. I guess we can go ahead and pull out our paper towels. Should be safe. Right there. And then, did this thing have pins on the cylinder? We'll have to find out. Let me get these pins out of here. They go right here. I'll get this other one out without jacking it up. Oh, it cooperated. See if we can get them in there without getting a bunch of stuff dirty. Sometimes you can just take you a little wrench that fits, tap them down. Looks like it's down. That one looks down. Looks good. All right, piston right here. Got the TB Two Brothers piston kit. What? Put this. Alright, since we got the motor out, it really don't matter which way we start this, but it just has to be started. Got one in there. I'm going to use a little bit of oil. One small drop's plenty. And I guess this bike don't have a intake is marked. Bike don't have a roller bearing. Just a regular old piston. A lot of times you can rest your rod on the edge of your piston and just move it, and then you can slide your piston dowel pin, whatever you want to call it, through there. She'll go in smooth. Try not to scratch up your piston. Okay. Not a good idea. Some of these are marked, some of them ain't. Usually your oil rings ain't marked. You see your gaps here, right there. So I'm gonna put my other gap here and over there, or something like that. You know what I mean? So that one's here. We'll put the other one over here. Your darker ring always goes second, and this one's got an R. For ready. And these are the ones that you can really scrape up your piston if you're not careful. So be careful. So the ring in right quick. Stop tearing stuff up, hopefully. Okay. So got my rings all gapped apart. Now I'm gonna get this last clip in. Clips in. All right. I'll leak a link in the description. You all can get this cylinder and stuff. And a bunch of these parts, anything you need off your KLX. So, actually I can put my 110 in here just for now. That way it's in a safe place. This is definitely a usable kit, so we'll use it. We've already put our pins in here. Make sure you have them. And we're going to use just a little bit of oil on the bottom of our cylinder here. There's a bevel on the skirt. Something feels a little fishy there. Okay. One little drop of oil should do it. Just get that lip right there. That little lip helps smash the rings in, and they usually drop in pretty easily after that. We'll get the chain up through there, and I like to use a poker if I have one. Here. So we'll let it rest basically on that top piston ring. Shouldn't have let this chain down in that dirt. That was pretty stupid. These you can just take it and throw it over these two top bolts. That'll hold it all. No big whoop. Alright, let's drop that piston down. So I've got my first gap on the ring is on the bottom, so if I tilt the piston back, the ring, the open will go in first, and then as you squish it, it'll squish in, so it's a lot easier. So that's what we'll attempt first. You can see I have the piston, so I've already got the gaps inside the cylinder, and as I move this forward, that piston ring is going to compress, and I can just diggle it back and forth. So I'm already in. Now and I ain't got as much room as I had last time, but I'll press this ring down, and I'm going to, as I'm doing this, I'm going to just try and push this one in first. That's going to push a lot of the ring out of the back side. And as you wiggle it, it'll just pop right in like magic butter. She usually just slides right in. She usually cooperates pretty nicely, just like that. So we're good there. Make sure if you got an oily chain, which this one's brand new, you don't want it dropping, touching your gasket. If it does that, you'll end up with an oil leak. And nobody wants an oil leak, trust me. Okay, we got our chain out of the way. Alright, got them put on our, whatchamacallers, the thingamajigger. That's good. So we got the thingamajigger on and the dilly whopper. Get this other chain guide in there. This will slide down into a groove down there. You should be able to push on it, and it shouldn't go up. If it goes up, you've done something definitely wrong here. So we're good there. Make sure if you got an oily chain, which this one's brand new, you don't want it dropping, touching your gasket. If it does that, you'll end up with an oil leak. And nobody wants an oil leak, trust me.
If it goes up, you've done something definitely wrong here.
So I think I'm gonna pull that head out that I had done the work on. All right, so got the head on. Run these bolts down here. Those are 10 millimeters. Got 10 here. I'll just run them down softly. Alright, so that's probably about good. You know what I'm saying? I'll go get a torque deal here in a minute. Alright, and we need to get our cam lined up. Got a brand new cam bolts. Thanks to Two Brothers Racing. If people need to fucking sponsor me and just start paying for all my builds. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Man, this motor looks awesome, awesome. Dirty, jacked up, dirty. Yeah, awesome. We're going to use some Loctite on this. That's why Jesus invented it. If you didn't know that, now you know. Jesus definitely invented Loctite. Actually invented the guy that invented Loctite, which means he invented Loctite. That's common knowledge. So, man, there were some big old holes for that little bitty bolt. Alright, well, let's get this sucker put on its side and everything. Get this thing put on its side. So that goes like that. It's pretty simple. And then just everything pops together. So, no big whoop. Piston should be pretty close to top dead center. Now mind you, on these we've got a tensioner on the top, so any slack you want basically towards the top because it'll spin it backwards and things of that nature. So yeah, we're probably gonna have to turn this crank over. Alright, so put a little gibbety goob on here. Hope we don't knock the motor over. I think it's on like top dead center right now, so technically we should be good. Put a little bit of gibbety goop on there. Once we put our tensioner in there, it should pull it back just a hair and give us the respect that we need, because we need this thing to respect us in the morning. 8 pounds, perfect. Loctite, 8 pounds. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be perfect. Perfect. Now, there's a rubber seal on there. You can put a new one on if you want to. If you don't want to, that's up to you. If you want to, that's up to you. It's all up to you. But, no matter what you do, you gotta loosen that thing. So, I got me a special made screwdriver that I ground down. You see that? So, it's a pretty good deal. Got that sucked down. Got my rubber O-ring on there. Let's give her just a small wiping. And we'll zip that down with 4 pounds of pressure. Right there. Perfect. 4 pounds of pressure. If you don't believe me, you can go back and check me. But it'll all be exactly what I told you. I may be dumb, but I ain't stupid. I can tell you that right now. Alright, so we got to loosen our tensioner. That should... We're a little bit before top dead center, so we're going to have to check all this. And we need to pull the plug out. And check, baby, 1, 2. We need a new plug anyway, you know what I'm saying? Hey, thanks for watching. We're gonna go put this in the black mamba bike. Y'all stay tuned for that. And we got one more of these to build. Got some other stuff to build. So y'all like, subscribe, hit the notification button.